The scent of freshly brewed coffee usually filled our Saturdays. It was our little ritual, a quiet moment before the world woke up. But that morning the air was thick with something else, something unspoken. For months, a tiny splinter of doubt had lodged itself in my heart. It started small, late nights at the office that didn't quite add up, a new password-protected phone, a distance that felt more like a chasm. I tried to ignore it, to convince myself I was just being paranoid. After all, this was Laura, the woman I'd built my life with, the woman I trusted implicitly. We had a home, a history, a tapestry woven with shared dreams and inside jokes. To question that felt like questioning my own reality. But denial is a fragile shield. That Saturday, as I was looking for a misplaced charging cable in her laptop bag, my fingers brushed against a small leather-bound notebook. It wasn't her usual planner. Curiosity, that persistent nagging voice, got the better of me. I opened it. And there it was. Not in code, not in riddles, but in her familiar, elegant script. Pages and pages detailing a life I wasn't a part of. A life with someone else. The words blurred, each sentence a hammer blow to the foundation of my world. It wasn't just a fling. It was an emotional entanglement, a parallel life she'd been living. The coffee I'd just made sat untouched, its warmth a cruel mockery of the cold that had seeped into my bones. My first instinct was rage, a white-hot fire that threatened to consume everything. I wanted to scream, to throw things, to confront her and watch the carefully constructed facade of our perfect life crumble. I pictured the scene 1,000 times. The accusations, the tears, the inevitable, ugly fallout. I played it over and over in my mind, each version more dramatic than the last. But as the initial shock subsided, something else took its place. A strange, unnerving calm washed over me. It was the quiet clarity that comes after the storm has passed, when you can finally see the wreckage for what it is. Looking around our living room, at the photos on the mantel, the furniture we'd picked out together, I realized I wasn't just looking at memories. I was looking at a cage. A beautiful, comfortable cage I had willingly helped build. For years, I had molded myself to fit the shape of us. I'd given up my dream of moving to the coast because she loved the city. I'd stopped painting, my once-consuming passion, because my art supplies cluttered the spare room she wanted for a home gym. My weekends were dictated by her social calendar, my tastes influenced by her preferences. I had slowly, almost imperceptibly, erased the parts of myself that didn't fit into the portrait of the perfect husband. I had become a supporting character in my own life story. The betrayal was excruciating, a wound deeper than I could have imagined. But in the raw honesty of that pain, I found a startling revelation. The end of my marriage didn't have to be the end of my life. It could be the beginning. The secret she had kept was a key, and it had just unlocked my cage. The grief was real, a heavy blanket I had to carry. But underneath it, a tiny seed of excitement began to sprout. The freedom was terrifying, a vast open ocean after a lifetime in a fishbowl. But it was also exhilarating. Who was I, without her? What did I want? For the first time in over a decade, I didn't know the answer, and that was the most beautiful, liberating feeling in the world. That afternoon, I packed a bag, not with anger, but with a sense of purpose I hadn't felt in years. I didn't leave a dramatic note. I just left the open notebook on the kitchen table, a silent testament to the truth we could no longer ignore. I drove, not to any particular destination, but just to feel the motion, the sense of moving forward. I ended up in a small coastal town, the kind I'd always dreamed of. The salty air felt like a cleansing breath, washing away the staleness of my old life. The sound of the waves crashing on the shore was a powerful, rhythmic heartbeat, a reminder that life goes on, in cycles of collapse and renewal. The first few months were a blur of rediscovery. I rented a small cottage with a window that looked out onto the sea. I bought canvases and paints, and for the first time in years, I painted. Not for anyone else, not to sell, but for the sheer joy of creation. My hands, clumsy at first, remembered the familiar dance of brush on canvas. I painted the ocean in all its moods, the fiery sunsets, the stormy grays. I was painting my own emotions, my own journey from darkness into light. I took long walks on the beach, learned to surf, and read books I'd always meant to read. I was dating myself in a way, learning my own likes and dislikes all over again. I learned that I loved the quiet of the morning, not the forced ritual of shared coffee. I learned that I was a pretty good cook when I wasn't trying to cater to someone else's diet. I reconnected with old friends, the ones who had known me before I became one half of a whole. They saw the change in me, the light returning to my eyes. They didn't see a man broken by divorce. They saw a man who had finally come home to himself. The pain of the betrayal didn't just vanish. It lingered, a scar that would always be a part of my story. But it no longer defined me. It became a reminder, a point of reference for how far I'd come. One day I received a letter from Laura. It was full of apologies, regrets, and a plea to understand. I read it, and for the first time I felt not anger, but a sort of detached pity. She was still trapped in her own patterns, while I had found a way out. I wrote back, a short, simple note. I told her I forgave her. Not for her, but for me. Forgiveness was the final step in my liberation, the act of letting go of the anchor that had been holding me in the past. It wasn't about condoning what she did, but about refusing to let it have power over my future. Finding her secret was the most painful day of my life. I wouldn't wish that kind of heartbreak on anyone. But it was also the day my real life began. It forced me to confront the comfortable lies I had been living and to ask myself what I truly wanted. Sometimes the things that break us are the very things that set us free. The end of one story is often just the start of a much better one. A story you get to write entirely for yourself. My life isn't perfect now, but it's mine. Every sunrise I watch from my window, every canvas I fill, every wave I ride. It's all a testament to the freedom I found on the other side of heartbreak. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me share this part of my journey with you. If this story resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Remember, no matter what you're going through, you have the strength to write your own next chapter. See you in the next video.